Welcome. Let's solve the paper 1, June shift 1. So we'll be solving it in two sets, 25 questions each. But before we begin, very important, rely on authentic answer keys because there are lots of answer keys which are through AI tools and other manipulated answers. Make sure you are going through authentic references and authentic reasons behind every answer. So let's begin with our first question here. Now, interesting to note, so as I had been always saying, when you are solving DI questions, it's better to create the final values in each section, and then those values could be applied across all the questions for DI, all the 5 questions. But this year the thing was different. Why? Because in each of the question that was asked, you had to calculate it with separate value. So here you have the percentage of readers that are given. Now the population in each case varied. So what I did, like you as well, so I just calculated the total value from the values given in the first question, and I did the whole calculation for each of the city. Now, when I scroll down to the paper, I realize that these values or these population was not asked in the remaining question. So you have to do it from scratch. So it's a good idea in this case to read the question, all the 5 questions of DI together, and see if the values would be applied across all. In that case, find out or calculate the value for each. Otherwise, you have to calculate the values only for the values which are asked. So here, first thing that we would do here is, just a second. Okay, so to start with, what we would do here is, the question says that if the number of readers in city C in 2019 is given. Okay, so for city C, I have the value as 73100, and for city E for 2023, that's for 9%, I have the value as 51300. Now, in this case, what I'll do is, based on this, I have to find out the total value here for 2019, and based on this, I'll find out the total value here for 2023. Correct? So if I sum up all these percentage, they account for 100%. And therefore, if I know this value or this population for city C, I can find out the population for any of the places, and you are asked to find out for city B. So since each of the question has separate value, I am emphasizing that again and again, that you should not waste time there. You have to find out only for city B. Don't find it out for the other cities, right? So 17% gives you this value. So how much would be the total population? 73100 multiplied by 100 divided by 17 would be the total population for the 2019, and then you would calculate it with the same way. So it would be 51300 multiplied by 100 divided by 9, since it's 9%. Okay, and that would give you the total population for 2023. Now from this total population that you get, you would find out for city B 14%. From this you would calculate 16%, right? So let me scroll down. So I have calculated this, and I have attained 4.3 lakhs as the total population in 2019, and from this value I have attained 5.7 lakhs as the total population. Now I have to find out only for city B. So of 4.3 lakhs, okay, of the value of 4.3 lakhs, I am calculating 14%, so I get this value, and of the value of 5.7 lakhs, I am calculating 16%. So 5.7 lakh into 100 into 16 divided by 100. So that's the value for 2030. Now I have the two values. Let me see what the question asks. The question asks, what is the difference? By what percentage it is more. So basically I have to calculate the difference here. So what I'll do is 91200 minus 60200 divided by 60200 into 100, and this gives you 51.49, which is the closest answer here is 51.5. So I hope this problem is clear. Now let's move on to the next question. Here, understand what is asked. Now the number of readers in city D for the 2 years is given separately, right? Now what is the difference between the readers from city F, I am given about D. So again from the D, I can find out the total population. So let me go back to city D and see what's the percentage. So it's 9% and 10%. So in this case, I'll do 9% of this value. So 9% gives this value, right? So what would be the total? And here 10% gives this value. So what would be the total? So 114,000 multiplied by 100 divided by 10. So 114,000 would be the population for 2023, right? For city D. Now for city D 2019, what would be the case? It would be what is the value? 9% gives me 7400. So 77400 multiplied by 100 divided by 9, that gives me a total of 860000. Now I have the total population for 2019 across all cities A to F as 860000, and across all populations from A to F cities for 2013 as 114,000. Now, what is the difference in the number of readers in city F from 2019 to 2023? Going back to the question, city F is 26% and 22%, right? So what I'll do is, now I have to calculate for city F for 2019, 26% of 860000 and 22% of 114,000, right? I find out these values and this gives me 250,800 and this gives me 223600. Now what is asked is the difference. So simply what I do is, this is for city F 2023, right? So difference would be how much? It would be 250,800 minus 223600. That gives me 27200. So going here, what would be my answer? 27200. I hope this question is clear. Coming on to the next. If the total number of readers from all cities A to F together is for 2023 is 50,000, what then the number of readers was more than 7400 in exactly how many cities? So for A to F, A, B, C, D, E, F, right? Let me take the percentage what is given. So the percentage is 15, 16, 28. It's 15, 16, 28, 10. And then the percentage are 9 and 22, right? 9 and 22. And the total value that I have here is 50,000. So for the 50,000, I calculate 10%. So it gives me 5,000. It gives me 4,500. I do it for other values. So 28% gives me 14,000. 22% gives me 11,000. 16% gives me 8,000. And 15% of 50,000 gives me 7,500. Now I am asked how many cities have a value of more than 7,400, right? So obviously you have to find out the number of cities 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 cities in the same year have the number of values above 7,400 in terms of population. Now note, the population that we calculated in the first question is not applicable anywhere else. So you have to take a clear note of this as you proceed with the question, right? Now the next question is, now this question actually takes the value from the first question. So we have the total number of population is exactly what it was given in the first question, right? Now here it is asked what is the difference between total number of readers from city B and city C in 2019 and 2023. So if I go back to the same table, you can see for city B the values are given here, right? And for city C the values are given here. Now for that question you have to add up these two values and add up these two values, right? Because we have already calculated it till that level, so I won't repeat it again here. Okay, so what you would be doing is beyond that you would be calculating. So 60200 was the 2019 population for city B, and for city C it was 73100. So it gives me a total of around 13300, right? And for city B, I had for 2023 the population was how much? I would have to check it again. Okay, so B and C, the values are here. So it is 91200 and 159600. Okay, so coming back here, the values are 91200 and 159600. So it gives me a total of how much? 250800. Now what is asked is the difference between the two. So 250800 minus 133300. So it gives me 117500. So I have the answer as 1.175 lakhs, correct? So this is the answer for this. Now for this question, we have utilized the values which were given in the case A, right? Now question 5. Now here you don't need to calculate the absolute amount, right? Here it is given the ratio of the readers in city A in 2019 and 2023 is 2:5. So the values are 10% and 15%, right? So 10% of X, let the population of city A in 2019 be X and in 2023 be Y, right? Divided by 15Y divided by 100 is equal to 2/5. 100 cancels out. So I have 10x by 15y is equal to 2/5, or I can say x by y is in is in the ratio of 2 into 15 divided by 5 into 10, which is 30 by, which equals to 30 by 50 or 3 by 5. So this is the total population of X by Y for the year 2019 to 2023. So 3:5 would be the correct answer in this case. I hope that's clear so far, right? Let's move on to the next question. Now you are asked the toxicants and which organs they affect. If you know the basics of science that you have studied till class 10th, you can answer this question. Nephrotoxic, nephrons. Nephrons are part of kidney. So this would be answered with kidney. Hema means blood, hemoglobin, right? So hema means blood. Pulmo means lungs, pulmonary. So that would be lungs. And hepato means liver. Hepatitis affects liver, right? So this would be liver, and this would be the correct match. So you have A as the correct answer. The next question is base 4 number is this. Now we have seen how do we calculate binary number, 2 raised to 0, 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 3. The same way this is base 4, right? So 3013. So 3 into 4 raised to 0, 1 into 4 raised to 1, 0 into 4 raised to 2, and 3 into 4 raised to power 3, right? So 3 into 4 raised to power 0 is 3, 1 into 4 raised to power 1 is 4, 0 into any number is 0, and 4 raised to 3 is 64, 64 into 3 is 192. So 192 plus 0 plus 4 plus 3 gives me 199. So my answer here is 199. Very simple question. But every time we have conversions usually that are asked are octal, binary, decimal. But this time it was base 4. You have to do it with the same method, nothing different. Now the next question talks about telepathy. It's a concept of extrasensory perception under psychology that we have covered, and Ganzfeld effect is what is given here, right? So this question basically talks about Ganzfeld effect. Now if you have understood or have a knowledge about what is extrasensory perception and you have covered our psychology lectures carefully, you will be able to answer this question, right? So when you are doing a telepathy, what does it mean? It's a mind-to-mind communication. That means I am sitting here, you are sitting at place Y, but I can communicate what are you thinking at this point of time, right? So what does this require? This definitely requires certain kind of shared beliefs or values that we have, but more importantly, it requires noise manipulation. Now under Ganzfeld experiment, we have seen that white noise is created and a red light is there, and that focus is generated. So if the noise is manipulated, that telepathy can be highly successful. So sensory deprivation is a key aspect to it. So B, C and D would be the right answer in this case. I need not to know the exact context in which this has to be there. So context and physical settings are not required. The next question is, when you are talking about components of a computer, which of them are ranked from slowest to fastest? So fastest would be the one which is in the local cache. So CPU cache would be the fastest. I am typing something in the browser and it shows me all the searches that I had done previously if my cache history is not deleted, and that shows you what is the cache there, right? So that result would prompt out very quickly. So this would be the fastest. Now the question says slowest to fastest, so that's important. So optical driver would be the slowest, followed by a SSD, followed by the internal RAM and followed by the CPU. So this would be the order in which the components would be there from slowest to fastest. The next is the word and code. Now here, do one thing. Don't try to solve this question, right? Simply see what are closer to it. So R, Q are far away from F. Unlikely these could be related to it. So the options that could be related could be D or A, right? Now D is still closer. You can see if it is a reverse order, it is not D and I F, so that could not be the option. But A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, right? So F becomes D and the last word D becomes B, right? So D and B. So you are just skipping one and moving one step behind. So again with C, you are moving to A, and with G, you are moving to E. So this becomes a choice with this. This relates to this. And then similarly, you would proceed with others, but don't need to proceed. You don't need to proceed because if you know A goes with 2 and B goes with 3. So A goes with 2 and B goes with 3. There is only one choice. So B is the correct option here. Now, the question says, which fallacy is committed in the following statement? Now, people with cases of flu should be kept in quarantine. That's what we had done during the COVID period, right? Now, keeping this in mind, if I say because it has never been disproven as the best method of keeping the disease from spreading. Now, this is an appeal to ignorance. Why do I say this is an appeal to ignorance? Because something is true because it has not been proved false. And therefore, I am saying that this is true. So when I am saying this has never been disproven, that means it has never been proved false. Since it is not proved false, I am saying it is true. And therefore, it is a fallacy. And this fallacy is known as appeal to ignorance. So A becomes the right option in this case. Now, the next is, when communication helps the group to achieve a goal, we say it is a promotive role of the communication. Disruptive would hinder. Counteractive would always create a question, and devotional is extremely devoted only to the cause of that. But it's not helping a group to achieve the goal, right? So when you're helping a group to achieve the goal, it is a promotive role in communication. The next question. Here, what you have to do is you have to find out the values. Now, very important thing that we discussed when we were talking about percentage. If I say 10% of 5 or 5% of 10, that means same because I am dividing it by 100 and multiplying it by the other number, right? So when I say 10% of 5 or 5% of 10, that, if you can see here, reveals out to be the same thing. So it becomes 1 when I add it up, not 0.1. So this is incorrect, right? A is 15% more than B. So if I assume B as 100, A is how much? 115. Now B is 13% less than A. So B would be, difference is 15 divided by 115 into 100. So how much less? This is approximately 13%. So C becomes correct, right? Now again, for this B choice, 40% of 60% of 3 by 5 of x, which is any number, gives me 504. When I solve this and I calculate x, I get 3500. Now, this says that 25% of 2 by 5, so it says, let me scroll down, 25% of 2 by 5 of x would be equal to 350. Now I replace x with 3500 here, right? So this is 1 by 4. This is 1 by 2. This becomes 10. So 3500 divided by 10, which gives me 350. So again, this statement is correct. So I have B statement as correct and C statement is correct. So B and C would be the right option in this case. Moving on next. Now this is a direct question which talks about the compendium of all the researchers and scientists, and this is under eVidwan. We have covered this in one of our classes in the contemporary question. So if you have gone through it on doorstep, you would be able to answer this question for sure. The next is a device used to convert digital to analog is what is called as modem. Again, a very direct question from computers that we have covered in our lectures. Now this is again a very simple question. To input voice over a presentation, I would need a mic or what we call as microphone. To input a pin, I would need number pad. So pin is any password, right? So that's what is pin. This would be number pad. To select the options from the menu, I would use my mouse to scroll. So this would be mouse. And to operate a flight simulator, I can use a joystick. Right? So these are the correct matches for this question. Coming on next, the first post-independence education commission was done nonetheless, but the University Education Commission, this was a direct question that was asked. Now coming on next, the motorboat covers a distance. First of all, what does this question ask about? This question asks about calculating the speed, right? So when you are calculating the speed, we know speed is equal to distance upon time, right? What do we know here? We know that the time is given, right? And the speed of the steering is given. And we need to understand the speed of the boat in still water. So what I do is, I am saying that this speed downstream would be equal to, the time taken downstream would be equal to the time taken upstream. Okay, so that means speed into time of 1, speed 1 time 1 would be equal to speed 2 time 2. In the first case, what would be the speed? Downstream is faster. So I do it as x plus 4. And the time taken here is 5 hours. In the next case, speed upstream is slower. So x minus 4 multiplied by what? Multiplied by the duration, which is 6 hours. Right? So I solve it as 5x plus 20 is equal to 6x minus 24. So x is equal to 44. So what's my speed here? My speed is 44 kilometer per hour. So that's the basic thing that we have calculated, right? So this is the speed in still water, and with this speed I am adding the speed of the stream. When it is downstream, it would be faster, and when it is upstream, it would be slower. So I would subtract in the case of upstream, I would add in the case of downstream, as simple as that. But in both the cases, my total distance remains same. So speed 1 into time 1 would be equal to speed 2 into time 2. That's what I can do, and by this I can calculate the total speed of the motorboat in a still water, which is 44 kilometer per hour. Coming on next. Now, these are the statements that are given. Now, from these statements, kb to mb is 1000. So, 25 kb and 100 mb, it cannot be larger, it is smaller. This, if I add one more, it would become 1 GB, smaller than 50 GB. So, again, incorrect, right? Now, this says that this 3500 KB is smaller than 2 GB. So after KB you would have MB and then GB. So definitely this statement is correct. So of the given choices, I would have only C as correct, because again 1024 bytes make the 1 KB. So this is smaller than 2 KB is incorrect. So C only would be the correct option in this case. The next is a approach which studies the reality only through the knowledge which is experienced, right? So only through the knowledge which is experienced is empiricism. Now empiricism, positivism, post-positivism, constructivism, interpretativism, we have all covered in one of our specific lectures with wonderful examples to help you memorize this concept with a single go. So just refer that complete lecture and you'll be all set with these kind of questions. But what comes through experience is empiricism. The next question is again on speed. Now this says that the speed of boat in still water is 5 kilometer and the speed of stream is 1 kilometer. The man rows 24 kilometers and come back. What is the total time? Now while it is going downstream, what would be the total speed? 5 plus 1. And the total distance is of course 24. This is downstream, right? So speed is equal to distance upon time. I have to calculate time, that is distance by speed. So in this case, it would be 24 divided by 6. In the second case, what it would be? Again, my distance remains 24 when I am returning back, right? But what is my speed? I am going upstream, so it would be going slow. So 5 minus 1, that means divided by 4. So when I solve this becomes 4, this becomes 6. So 4 plus 6 is nothing but 10. So I'll take a total time of 10 hours, right? The next question, which of the following are essential for forming photochemical smog? Now this is a tricky question that has been asked. The whole and sole objective of this question is to understand hydrocarbons, VOCs and nitrous oxides in presence of sunlight generate smog. So it is a smoke plus fog, right? So nitrous oxides, VOCs and sunlight would be the correct option here. So B, D and E would be the correct option. Coming on next. You know that you find algebra as a subject more difficult than your sister does. How could you improve with practice? Now, going straight forwardly to this question, you would say practice. So, if I do a self-discipline for myself, I can practice and therefore I can improve. But no, this question is focusing on cognition of cognition, which is known as metacognition. That means, firstly, you realize that you are not as good as your sister is. Then you realize what could be the corrective steps that you need to take, and then you realize that with practice I can attain what my sister does. And then as a result of this metacognition, this self-discipline would come into action, right? So therefore, for this question, the correct answer would be metacognition. The next question talks about memory. Now this is again from the fundamentals of psychology that we have discussed before. There are two types of memories, explicit and implicit. You can go back to the lecture in detail again. So explicit memory types about episodic and semantic memory, and these are declarative. Implicit memories are unconscious and all of the sudden, so procedural. If I keep on working or if I keep on cycling, even after 20 years I'll cycle, because that is a procedural memory. Priming means from my past experience I quickly recall and do the things. And then classical conditioning, as the Pavlov's experiment we have discussed. So A, C and E would be the correct answer for implicit memory, and the remaining two would be for the explicit memory. The next question is a question where you talk about scholars. Now even if you don't know anything from the fundamental, you can say, okay, from here I'll say Adam Smith and Karl Marx are economists and Locke is a philosopher, right? Marshall is again an economist, right? So here, based on that alone, I can solve this question. So I can say language as a conduit for communication was given by John Locke, right? Then free commerce. This was what was the idea of Adam Smith when he talked about, he is talked about as the father of modern economics. He focused on free trade and free commerce, right? So free commerce and free communication by Adam Smith. Then communication and economics by Edward Marshall, and then lines of communication, which the bourgeoisie, which was the Marxist model, and that was given by Karl Marx. So these are the correct matches for this question. Now, in the next section, we'll go ahead and solve the remaining 25 questions. And as I mentioned every time, if you are going through the lectures carefully and if you have solved the past question bank, there is no reason you can score 100% in your paper 1 and significantly improve your merit and plan for JRF and not just NET. Good luck. We'll be solving the next 25 questions in next go. Thank you.